So the bear in the movie, the bear kills 2 out of 4. Well, 2 out of 5 of the people in the movie. It kills Shepard and not Raddick, but Anya. I can't remember Anya's last name, but their names have meanings too.
I'm sure
be
they
cool
do.
to mention that.
Yeah.
So,
2 out of 5. Yeah, it's only the psychologist and Lena who make it.
Yeah, correct. To the lighthouse, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where they get out of the swamp or out of the base camp where they find the video of Lena's husband slicing open that guy. So they leave there and they're walking to this village or this town, and there's all these floral formations growing in the shape of humans, and all of the houses have been overgrown with kudzu and ivy and whatnot. And did you notice
Kudzu?
Do you know kudzu?
No, what's kudzu? I don't know what that is. What's
Oh,
kudzu?
man. So it's all over the South. Like where I grew up, it was everywhere. And it's an invasive kind of ivy, I guess, kind of looking plant that just covers everything. Everything you see that's on those houses, that's kudzu.
Kudzu.
And it just overgrows. Yeah.
Is that a colloquialism, or that's what the plant is called?
I don't know.
It's like saying it's covered in moss. It's covered in kudzu. Can you say that if you were to make a sentence of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never heard of it
And
before.
so-
It's my first time.
Yeah. It'll grow up the total length of a tree and kill it. It'll just grow over everything and kill it. And
Sounds great.
I mean, you have to have Agent Orange to get rid of it, even if that works, but it's all over the South.
Yeah.
So they go to that village, it's covered in kudzu. And did you notice that the house they go into to bunk in for the night, it looks just like Lena's house? Did you notice that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I should rewatch it. I'll rewatch it. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's the same structure, same layout. And she seems to notice it when she walks in, because she walks into the steps and she looks at the photograph on the wall and she's kind of, what? This is very familiar. And then later that night, the bear attacks. So what's the significance of the bear?
Yeah.
If you notice...
Because I didn't mention, let me just introduce the bear. The bear is this strange, weird bear-type creature which attacks one of the characters earlier, and then when it attacks again, it's got screams coming out of its mouth instead of growls.
Yeah. It's got Shepard's voice because it killed Shepard.
Yeah.
And it's screaming, help me, and that kind of thing. And so, did you notice the tattoo that Oscar Isaac's character has? He's got it on his on his left breast.
He's got a bear tattoo.
Yeah, so he's got a bear tattoo. And if we're thinking of the Shimmer as a place where your inner fears or struggles are projected outwards, then I'm thinking that the bear is actually a representation of Lena dealing with Kane's anger at her. Because it's this monster that's kind of haunting them and stalking them the entire time. And in the book, the same thing happens. It's not a bear, and I don't remember it. You never see it, but what happens in the book is that they hear, all 4 of them hear something screaming in the night, and at one point they howl back at it just to kind of make light of the situation and deal with being this freaky place. And so, and then and there's one scene where Lena kind of confronts it and she runs away from it, but she never sees it. But it's interesting because when she gets away from it, it kind of pulls back from the pursuit of Lena, and it howls out of grief. It sounds like it's grieving, kind of like her husband is grieving in the same way. So,
that's very interesting. And his grief is what creates the husk of the person that returns, because he is unable to. It kind of brings me back to the point I was trying to make about the affair being maybe something that happens to be the right thing for her, that she shouldn't feel regret about. It shouldn't, in the context of being who she is, right? In the context of centering the self, this happens to be maybe the right thing for who you are. That the guilt that has destabilized you needs to be brought back to center, but that doesn't happen to work with the person you are living with, the person who's your husband, who you also love, and it is actually destroying them. It's destroying this person to the extent that they're no longer the person who they once were, who you remember when you think back on them. They're a different person now, and that's going to result in either that person withdrawing further, or maybe a divorce or a further conflict. I mean, I guess that's not really suggested at, but when they hug at the end of the film, there's sort of this suggestion that not a compromise has been reached, but they're both in a place where they're at least able to move forward, and the dynamics of the relationship are changed.
To the point of, it's a recurrent theme, like in that movie Transcendence. Have you seen that?
I haven't. With
Johnny Depp. Interesting ideas. It can be kind of cheesy, but it wasn't bad. But in a lot of movies, you've got kind of a couple or a pair, a married couple, boyfriend and girlfriend, lovers, partners, whatever, but they get separated, and then the entire movie is about them coming back together, which is kind of like the Isis and Osiris myth, because she loses her husband and then she goes on this journey to put him back together and resurrect him, kind of like Lena is doing in this movie.
That's an interesting way of looking at it too. Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of movies do it. And again, it's one of those stories that just seems to persist because it does something for us. It resonates or whatever.